What's up guys, Doomwake here, and welcome back to some more modern content. Today, we are going to be playing some zombie. I hope I don't get DMCA'd for that. Anyways, zombies. This is a deck that has been kind of doing reasonably well in challenges. It's very, very similar to the initial shells that I had tried early on, with a couple of small differences that really do kind of add up and make it a little bit better than the list that we had before. Let's kind of talk about what this deck is trying to achieve. That's step one. So it has a lot of sacrifice outlets where you have Warren Soultrader alongside Village Rites and Chthonian Nightmare to help like sacrifice and loop stuff out of the graveyard. You can also reanimate stuff with Unearth, where you like have Stitcher Supplier as self-mill. If that mills over a Warren Soultrader, you just get that back with Unearth. Now, the combo that you were trying to get towards, that's kind of your end goal, is Soultrader plus Gravecrawler, where Soultrader says sacrifice a creature and pay a life to make a treasure, and then Gravecrawler you can cast from your graveyard for a black if you have a zombie. Soultrader just so happens to be a zombie. So if you have some sort of die trigger like Marionette Apprentice, you can go Soultrader, sack Gravecrawler, drain them for 1, sack the treasure, which also notably does drain them for 1 because Apprentice counts artifacts, rinse, repeat, kill your opponent that way. Even if you don't have the Apprentice and you just have Soultrader plus Gravecrawler, you can actually, if you have a black mana and a Vault untapped, you can, say, pay like 10 life or so, connive 10 with the Vault, and then that might find you the Marionette Apprentice to then actually kill them. Past that, we have Orcish Bowmaster, just a phenomenal card. Doesn't necessarily synergize with the deck directly, it's not a zombie, but it makes an extra body. The extra body is good with Soultrader, good with Phyrexian Tower, gives you another body for Chthonian Nightmare. And then what I really love about this deck is you'll notice that you have a ton of cheap creatures that you don't really care about going to the graveyard. Sometimes because they come back in the form of Gravecrawler, sometimes because you just kind of want them there with Chthonian Nightmare or Unearth. And this is quite possibly the best shell that I've seen for Flare of Malice. The Mono Black and other scam variants play it as like you can go pitch Grief, sack my Grief to Flare, but it feels okay in those decks, but it doesn't quite feel as free as it is in this deck. So past the combo and the reanimation and the Flare of Malices, we have a little bit more interaction in the form of 4 copies of Thoughtseize. Again, I'm a big fan of the Thoughtseizes in the main deck because they just hit a bunch of different archetypes. There's not really a deck in Modern where you say to yourself, I don't really think I want Thoughtseize. You can board them out against the very, very aggressive decks, but for the most part, it's just a very good catch-all. And then the other spell that I kind of want to highlight here is Village Rites. Again, we've kind of talked about this deck wants to put stuff into the graveyard, and Village Rites is a relatively cheap, efficient way to do that that also pays you off and gets you a little bit of cards. So the main difference between this deck and the earlier zombie decks that I was playing is 4 copies of Boggart Trawler. Now, you'll see there's only 17 lands, but we have 4 Trawlers and 1 Agadeem's Awakening, so it's kind of like 22. And it may seem like a very, very subtle difference, but just the fact that you have 4 spells in your mana base means that you are so much less likely to flood out, where if you have 3 actual lands and a Trawler, you just can cast the Trawler. And because there's so much Flage going on, there's a ton of Boros decks, there's a ton of Jeskai, there's Goryo's Vengeance, there's some other decks that utilize the graveyard in some fashion, and just 3-1 that exiles your opponent's graveyard is just a really good card. And on top of all of that, what's really sick about having these in the mana base is if you mill them over with Stitcher Supplier, you can then get them back with Nightmare or Unearth if your opponent has a Flage. So it may seem like a subtle difference to just like cut lands for DFCs, but I really felt the change of Boggart Trawler and how much better it made this deck. And then last but not least, we'll talk about the sideboard very briefly here. So we have 3 Fulminator Mage. Those are good against Tron, decks that have non-basic lands. It's also especially backbreaking in this version because you can start looping Fulminator with Nightmare or Unearth, and that kind of gets out of control. 2 Force of Despair, mostly here for Nadu. We're paying the bird tax. 2 copies of Fatal Push, good against Boros. Duress, good against Jeskai. 2 Harsh Mentor, more Nadu tax. 3 Rakdos Charm, more Nadu tax, but it also has other utility. You can board this in against artifacts, you can board it in against graveyard decks, but you'll notice we have quite a few Nadu hate cards in our sideboard. And then the last card that I want to mention is Rain of Gore, which is kind of a weird one, but I like it I like it a lot against the mono black decks, because the concept of mono black is they use Necro to pay a bunch of life and draw a bunch of cards, and then gain that life back with March or Soul Spike and go again. But if you have Rain of Gore in play, they effectively just can't ever cast a Soul Spike or a March because they just die on the spot if they do. So it effectively just completely invalidates all of their life gain. You could maybe bring it in against Boros because it's good against Ocelot Pride and Guide of Souls, but I would recommend probably not doing that, but very good against mono black. And that's it for the deck. I am pretty excited to showcase this league to you guys. Again, I had a ton of fun playing this deck, and I think that if you're looking to bring some sort of graveyard strategy to an upcoming RCQ, you could do a little bit worse than this. So be sure to like, subscribe, let me know what you thought down below, and I will see you guys in a little bit for round number 1. Thoughtseize, Gravecrawler, Flare, huh? This is kind of a medium hand. A very, very medium hand. We could do better. I mean, it's playable, but this is the worst mana base I've ever seen in a mono black deck, by the way. This is embarrassing. I mean, I guess I'll keep it. It's better than going to 5, right? How is the mono black mana base this bad? Yeah, that's fair. Ragavan. Good thing I have Ragavan's Mortal Enemy. A 1/1 creature. It's tough out here for the monkey these days, huh? But I really hope they don't go Fury Pitch a red card here, because then they can connect with the Ragavan. Imagine if they had Fury Pitch red card and not did after all this turn. That would be wild. Sure. I mean, I'm just gonna trade with my 1/2. Still trading, by the way. Still trading. I guess I'll play this. It's the worst mono black mana base since the other mono black deck with a horrible mana base. Yeah, I mean, people like there's a lot of people that just kind of associate these sort of like these utility lands as free. There's 3 Spymasters involved in this deck. Like, that is so many, especially with 2 Phyrexian Tower, because this is just like, you know, what are we doing here, you know? Oh, so we win? Well, that's nice. I like winning. Winning is cool. Do you like winning? Winning is nice. So, Chad, reading any good books lately? You can only read manga. Okay, noted. Arms and Influence. Reading Berserk right now and it's cracked. Nice. Alright, they're playing Rakdos Scam, huh? Push My Ass? I think that's probably it. Trim like a Thoughtseize and a Village Rites because they have Bowmasters. I mean, I kind of want to keep this. Yeah, I mean, I listen to podcasts. Do podcasts count as audiobooks? Like, technically speaking? Or no? They're pretty similar, right? What is up with these one-landers? Come on, dog. Killing me over here. Alright, keep this. We have a song request from hashtag Free Willy. Unter Dem. I don't know what that means, but we'll figure it out. Oh, they had a Leyline of the Void. That's horseshit. I don't know what this is. Unter Dem Flaster by Free Willy. Alright, it's in the queue. I've never heard of this song or this band before, but we will find out together. At least I can cycle the Unearth. Wonka? I don't want to take damage, man. Get out of here. -3 cards, by the way. Bang. I have to hope they kept the Leyline hand that is not functional. It seems like their hand is functional, but it's not good. It's a song about freedom. All right, well, I'll be the judge of that. Let's go here. I'm gonna main phase the Village Rites because I don't want them to have second Bowmaster. Go. That's why reading before bed is goated. Helps put you to sleep by winding down from screens. You don't have to commit to reading more than like 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah, exactly. If I'm laying down for bed reading a book, it probably would not take very long for me to fall asleep. What is the song? I don't know. The song is called Unter dem Floster by Free Willy. It's a song that I am not familiar with. Nice hand against this ley line, huh? I'm doing this now in case they have Not Dead After All. We've located the one person still playing Leyline of the Void in their sideboard. And we are not going to beat them. Unfortunate. It's a Song of My Homeland. Never heard it before. Ooh, I drew a playable card. Playable card spotted. Playable card spotted. Their last card is probably Grief or something. Give me a Bowmaster. Nope, that's not good. Doesn't this also get turned off by Leyline? Draw X cards and discard X cards. X is the number of creatures that died this turn.
Bruh.
Come on, man. No, I mean, you could play Feed the Swarm, but we're not playing Feed the Swarm. Because who in their right mind still plays Leyline of the Void these days? Only psychopaths do. Alright, we're going to go to Game 3. And in Game 3, they will simply not have their Leyline of the Void. Alright? You kind of have to mulligan to it, because if it's not in your opening hand, it doesn't work. And a lot of the decks that Leyline is good against can play, like, they can play Magic when you don't have your Graveyard Hate. And if you are required to mulligan heavily to find your Leyline, like, say you have to mull to 5 to find it, then, like, they're going to be up resources to be able to have other cards that play through the Leyline. Does that make sense? Like, there's not decks that just entirely fold to Leyline. Says the streamer that's playing a deck that folds to Leyline. This is a bad example because nobody plays this deck, but I'm saying like Flage, Living End. I guess Living End is maybe a... Leyline is good against Living End. I guess I'll give you that. It's a bit of this screws us specifically right now, but yeah, exactly. Like, sure, Leyline looks good because I'm playing a deck that loses to Leyline, but, like, we would also just lose if they had a licensed Turris. We would probably also lose if they had Tormod's Crypt. You know, it doesn't really matter what Graveyard Hate they have. Just, you know, we're gonna lose to most of it anyways. This Leyline could be anything. I mean, we got the beatdown draw, I guess. I think Leyline is also good versus Storm and Goryo's. It's fine. But again, it's just too high of a risk. Leyline is arguably one of the best Graveyard Hate cards, but it's very high risk, high reward. You know? Like, the games where you have it in your opening hand, it's fantastic, but the games where you have to mulligan to it, or like you have to mulligan and don't find it, that's where it looks bad. It's like, you mulligan a respectable 7-card hand because you don't have Leyline, and then you just don't find the Leyline anyways. Like, you mulligan to 6, you don't have it, you mulligan to 5, sure, maybe you have it, but your 5-card hand just doesn't function because one of, you know what I mean? I think that's my big issue. Nethergoyf, huh? They're at 13. If I attack with everything, they block Apprentice, I can Rites this, they take 5, go to 8. Isn't it just better to Rites a token and try to find Fatal Push? Because they lose 2 life off the tokens. Okay, what if I don't find Fatal Push? Something, I guess. Okay. Go. It is kind of nice that the tokens still deal them damage. Croxa. This is just like, this is Rakdos Scam from 6 months ago. This is like the week after Fury got banned. They've just been playing the same deck for 6 months. They can't let it go. There's other grief decks you can play, you know that, right? They didn't attack with Dothy. I don't understand that. Why would they not attack with Dothy? Go? I think I don't really want to attack yet. I mean, they're at 6. Maybe I should have attacked, actually. With them being at 6. If I attacked with everything, they block Apprentice, go to 2. Yeah, attacking there might have been good for a Connive. No, because if they block Apprentice, I can't Connive. Because the creature doesn't die. So Vault, the only way that Vault would work is if the Servo dies. I could have went Tower, sack Servo, deal them 2, and then use that to Connive. That could have been interesting. That would have been a good idea, actually. So now they're going to Croxa. We could discard Vault, though. And they have 2 blockers. We're not that far away from killing them. Especially if I can find a Fatal Push. Because this doesn't really block effectively now. If I find push for Croxa, we're kind of chilling. I was going to say that's good, but they just sack the Netherglyph, right? Or, sorry, they sack the Dothy, not the Netherglyph. Yeah, if they had sent the Dothy, I'd be at 3 by now. So, how about this? They're at 5. 2 blockers, they just block both Apprentices. We lose 1 Apprentice, they take... No, they can't do that, right? 2, 4... they'd end up at 1. So, if I send everything, I think I'm dead, right? Because they just go, eat Apprentice, chump Apprentice, take 3, go to 2, then I can post-combat sack the Servo token to Tower, that only puts them to 1. If I sack the Servo before damage, then they end up at 1. Yeah, they end up at 1. Oh no, they would die, because the Apprentice would die, right? So if I play Tower and send everything, yeah, and then I could sack this... Oh, I can sack the Servo to connive on one of the unblocked creatures. I might just have lethal here. Now that I'm thinking about it, I might just have lethal, I think. Right, because if they block both Apprentices, I can sack this to dome them for 2, they go to 3, connive onto this, they die. Nothing will die. This will. This still works. So this deals them 2. The token is the only thing that deals them damage. So I guess what they have to do is block... They have to block Gravecrawler Apprentice? I guess that works, right? Okay, well now they're dead, right? Because we go sack here, deal them 2, connive onto one of these. Okay, I think they had to block one of the Apprentices, right? Yeah, they had to block one of the Apprentices. It's a learning stream. Yeah, Dothy does not work against tokens. Neither does Leyline. The only card that does is specifically Rest in Peace, right? Because Rest in Peace says card or token. I'm going to ask you a question. I don't know if you know the answer to this. Why does Rest in Peace specify card or token, but Leyline of the Void does not? Like, why? What's the difference there? Is it like a color pie thing? Because it seems like they have similar enough text that they should work similarly, right? Oh, I guess Leyline is older. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess Leyline is an older card. So they probably didn't think about that when they designed Leyline. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah. I think this hand's fine, right? Dothy is newer. That's a good point. Dothy is newer and it doesn't specify card or token. Which I guess is kind of weird. Because Dothy is a newer card. Guess I'll keep that. Because then we could just go Supplier Thoughtseize on 2. Lotus Bloom? Bro, are they playing Tameshi? Holy shit. Tameshi Enjoyer? Kind of based. Binding, Tameshi Spotted. I mean, I guess I'll take the Tameshi. My Supplier. Tameshi Enjoyer Inbound. Dothy Void counter stealing would be weird with tokens. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so I guess Dothy kind of has to be worded that way. Yeah, never forget Tameshi. Pepperidge Farm remembers Tameshi. I saw somebody, but this might be actually the same person. I saw somebody post a league result with Tameshi with like some energy cards. Let me see if I can find the list and show it to you guys. This might just be the same person. Yeah, it is the same person. I was thinking about playing this. So they have like Flage, Discharge, Tune the Narrative, Wrath of the Skies. So it's just, you know, Tameshi combo with the energy package. It looked kind of cool. Yeah, 4 more gate. Okay, they played Hallowed Fountain. So they have Binding Up. What is the best way to go about this? If I play Soultrader, they're just going to Binding it. But if they Binding Soultrader, you know what I could do? I could go sack Supplier for a treasure, use the treasure, Village Rites, sack the Soultrader, and then keep the Soultrader in the graveyard for the Unearth next turn. I actually kind of like that. Because then it might incentivize them to tap out for Teferi. And then I think if they tap out for Teferi, we can probably kill them. They might just Binding the Supplier in response. No, they don't. Okay. Let them target first. Yeah, so we just go here. Mill 3. Village Rites. Because I want the Soultrader in the graveyard for the Unearth. That's good. So yeah, if they tap out for Teferi, they're dead. Part of me thinks they probably won't tap out for Teferi, but we'll see. Cool. I like it. What are we getting? Dowerport Mage plus Soul Hoarder. What is Dowerport Mage? I don't know what that is. Sideboard. Sideboard. Satoru Frog. Dowerport. What is Dowerport Mage? I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a new card. What does it do? Can't blame them for feeling safe playing Teferi there. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like they don't, you know, they don't know that I have the combo rolled up, so made sense. All right, what do we want against Tameshi? Harsh Mentor stops Tameshi, right? Because Tameshi is not a mana ability. So Mentor against Tameshi seems good. What else do we want? Duress Fatal Push. Fatal Push does kill Tameshi. Charm messes with their graveyard. I don't know. It does matter, right? Because they're returning Lotus Bloom with Tameshi for the combo, but it might be kind of overkill because we already have flares too. I kind of want Duress because Teferi is a pain in the ass. So let's do something like this. And they're probably going to be heavy on graveyard hate, so let's do something like that. What are the Force of Despairs for? Pretty much exclusively Nadu, I think. Sand looks fine. It's got land and spells. We got a Thoughtseize for interaction. I guess you could maybe consider bringing in Force of Despair against the Eldrazi decks. Just because it, like, kills some big idiot. I'm trying to think how I want to sequence this hand. What 2-drops do I care about? Not a ton, right? I'm just going to play Supplier first. Hello, Moto. I guess they could be playing Ren and 6. It's a card that I might care about. Let's do this for now. Milling this is nice. If we can find an Unearth. Yeah, new Moto features Small Break. If by Small Break you mean big break, then yes. I agree with you. You wouldn't Veil of Summer me, would you? You wouldn't cast Veil of Summer, would you? I guess I'll take that. They have 2 discharges, 2 lands. Alright, Gravecrawler. They built that one in from the beginning. Surely, I mean, when Magic Online was first introduced, they probably didn't have as much memory leak. Because it was a new client. There wasn't as much, like, you know what I mean? Like, the first, maybe, like, 10 years or so, there wasn't nearly as much on the client. So there's not enough memory to be leaked when there's no files, you know? 7 fetches isn't too much, even if you are a bicolor deck, since you have only 2 push inside and no ghast. Yeah, but, I mean, I don't know. You kind of still want them for the theater. Because the Surveil land is so good in this deck because you have cards that return things from the graveyard. So just having an abundance of fetch lands to be able to find Surveil land to dig 1 card deeper. for like whatever combo piece you're missing is kind of nice. I mean, it's good enough, right? I know they have Discharge, but... Smells like Tameshi. We have Tameshi covered with Flare. I don't care too much. Speaking of Surveillance... Pog. Alright, so this Bowmaster is accounted for. If you could do me a favor, Sandman-ness, and just put that link to the deck list in the Discord, just so I can keep track of it. Hot Girls, if you're here as well, same thing with you. If you could just throw the link to the deck in the Discord. Well, actually, no, I have yours already. But yeah, Sandman, if you want to just put that in the Discord so I can keep track of it, that'd be greatly appreciative. Where did Bloodghast go? It's not a zombie. I mean, it's still a fine card. And it is good with Nightmare. It's good with Supplier, too. Maybe this deck should still play Bloodghast. I'm not sure exactly what you'd want to cut for it, though. Like, there's not a lot of room in this deck. I kind of wish I had second Surveillance land. It's not normally good, but, you know, because you are playing a lot of 1-drops. And you do kind of want to curve out. Just got home card as a tree? Yeah. For those of you who have not seen yet, they treed my boy. And to answer your question, because I know you're thinking it, yes, we are going to make this an emote. I will be making that an emote tonight, so. Karn and 6 out of baby. Correct. Eladamri's Call. Flage. Good thing we have Trawler. So they're going to Flage my Mentor, but then we can just Trawler the Flage. Yeah, 4 Nightmare could be too many. Could shave on rights. Could do some trimming. You don't have to cut like a card entirely. Just trimming some cards could be good. They still have Discharge in hand, which they're probably going to use to kill my Trawler. Get this. Any cards you like for Pioneer from Bloomburrow? I have to look at the whole set again. And by again, I mean I have to look at the whole set for the first time. I don't know what it is, but I have not really been paying attention to a lot of spoilers. I just kind of like been focusing on other things. So I haven't really had time to check out spoilers, but I've seen a couple of the 1-drops that I think are really good. One thing that I like about this set is the power level seems to be nested in a lot of cheap cards. And I think that's very, very good for Pioneer. Because the best way to combat stuff like Phoenix and Rakdos Vampires is to match their efficiency. Because those decks, the reason those decks are so good is because they're just hyper efficient. And one of the best ways to match that is more cheap cards. And I think that's generally a good direction to go. Halo Point, thank you for the 16-month resub. Welcome back, Halo. Is there a new card you're talking about? No, it's just, it's Karn the Great Creator, but they just made a fancy version of it. There it is. In all of its glory. Hot take, I don't want the format to all look like Phoenix and Vamps. I mean, that's not a hot take, and I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying that if you give other decks cheap cards to help combat them and match their, you know what I mean? Not like they're not going to be the same deck. They're able to keep up with them because they're so much more efficient than they were previously. I think that's what it is. You know? I don't expect these decks to be the same decks. They're like, you know what I mean? It's different. Maybe I'm not articulating it that well, but you don't want to be at that level. What level? Just like the amount of efficiency, is that what you're saying? Just not enough good cards in Pioneer to match Phoenix and Vamps. Well, that's like, again, that's what I'm saying. The set so far seems to have some very powerful cards. We'll see how they play out, and we'll definitely see how everything shakes out, but I'm probably going to be focusing, once Bloomburrow comes out, I think I'm going to be focusing, at least for like a week or two, on Pioneer, because I want to see if there's anything that's truly really good that I would consider playing in DC. So, once the set comes out, we'll definitely be focusing a little bit more on Pioneer. I mean, Malevolent Rumble milling over Flage sounds really appealing. I almost wonder if, like, if there's a way that we can keep the Nantukos and the Rumbles, but also incorporate the birthing rituals, because I like the rituals a lot, and I know that Dingo shipped the rituals from the list that he played, but, like, maybe you can just do a little bit of trimming on the numbers and play 1 or 2 rituals, because that card does seem extremely powerful. I mean, I'd believe it, Rix. Nantuko is completely broken. Has anybody had Spring Card Nantuko Unlimited? Because then you can really understand the true power level of that card. It is not remotely beatable. Correct. Ocelot plus Obnix is bugged. It's actually kind of an insane draw. Because now I can go Thoughtseize, sack Supplier, play Apprentice. I'm going to Thoughtseize first. Whoa, I thought this was Living End. What the fuck is this? Chat, I'm scared. What is my opponent up to? Oh. Okay. That makes a little more sense. A little sus. Just take Preordain, right? Alright, if we mill a Gravecrawler or draw a Gravecrawler next turn, we win. That is not a Gravecrawler. So we go here, make a 1/1. We get 3 more looks at it next turn. Oh, we get 6 looks at it. Because I can go Swamp, Unearth, Supplier, and then sack Supplier to the tower so I get 6 looks to find a Gravecrawler. Because then we go land, 3 mana Soultrader, sack this, play Gravecrawler. Yeah, we get 6 more looks at Gravecrawler, which is nice. Does that do anything for us? It's the same thing, right? Well, it is theoretically better if I mill Supplier, right? Because I can go sack Servo, bring back Supplier. Oh no, it's the same. Because then I have to sack Supplier to get back Soultrader. So it's the same number of looks. But, oh no, it's worse because I have to sack the Servo token. Right, it's the same number of looks, but I have to sack this for no reason. So yeah, this is just worse. I think it's worse. We need to mill Crawler, which we did not. Alright, Crawler meat, please? Please, Crawler meat? Fuck. Well, shit. Now what? Can I get more looks? I don't think I can. I can go Trawler, Soultrader, sack Servo, make a treasure. Like, I can sack both of these, play Nightmare, sack the Soultrader, get back Supplier, but then I just don't have the Soultrader in play anymore, right? Play Warren Chill. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting another turn. That's kind of why I'm like, I really need to try and kill them this turn. Because I don't think I'm getting an extra turn. But, I mean, we can cope, you know? We certainly can cope. Can they combo with Orcish play? I guess I didn't think about that. I could have went Nightmare, Sex, Servo, get back Bowmaster. Okay. I probably should have done that, right? Well, no, because the ring gives them protection, right? Yeah, the ring gives them protection. It doesn't matter. Because, like, the way I die is them finding ring, and if they find ring, then they have protection anyways. So it doesn't really accomplish that much. A 32-32 army. Sounds about right. Maybe they don't have ring? Do they have a ring in their sideboard? Oh, they don't need it, right? Yeah. Because they could just go make a bunch of mana, get Tome Scour. Yeah, we're dead. Alright, dead. Dead. Well, I will bring in Duress. I should bring in Fulminator Mage because it kills their Lotus Field, right? I don't think the flares do anything. They don't play creatures that matter, correct? I don't think they do. How do you feel about this deck? It's okay. I don't hate it. I think it's definitely an improvement over the last version. Really, the only difference between this version that we're playing now and the last version we played is the Trawlers. But I think the Trawlers really do add another dimension to this deck, because not only are they just good to hardcast when you're flooding, but also you can mill them over and then rebuy them with Nightmare or Unearth. So, like, and there's a lot of decks that utilize the graveyard. You have the Living End deck, all the Flage decks. Those are, like, the two most important ones. So Trawler is, like, another huge dimension that this deck didn't have access to before, which I like. We could, I guess, still board in the Fulminators because we can blow up their other lands. We could maybe cut the Village Rites. They're, like, a little slow and dirtily. And maybe one Nightmare. Alright, I'll try it. They still might be good enough. Has that even really become a thing in Pioneer? I know that when Buzzcrusher was first spoiled, everybody was like talking about it was going to be the end of Lotus Field. But I don't even... Are people even really playing that much Buzzcrushers? There's not a lot that I've seen. This hand sucks, right? It's not good. Much better. Much, much better. Do I just greed put back the third land? This is like the perfect 7-card hand, but I have to put a card back. It's got you have to put back land with this hand, right? Like, you need all of the spells. If we Supplier, mill over Apprentice, we need the Unearth to get back the Apprentice. We need the Gravecrawler for the combo. Like, you need all of these cards. I think you just have to put back a land. We can win on 2 lands. It's awkward because we have the Soultrader in hand. That's the awkward part, right? Okay, we also didn't mill over the Apprentice. We could even Surveil, I guess. Oh. Alright, this is going to look really weird, but just trust me, okay? I'm a professional. Well, I mean, that certainly changes things. Jesus Christ. Well, fuck, now what do I do? I was gonna get back the Bowmasters. I mean, I guess we just get back that, right? Surely. It has to be, right? That's why I didn't trust you. I mean, it worked out pretty well for me. That was, like, maybe the best card I could have milled over. I guess I would have preferred the Apprentice, but it's, like, second best. What on earth am I listening to right now? Trust me on the song. I mean, if anybody's not following the stream, and this song is not encouraging you to follow the stream, I don't know what will, you know? It sounds like an AI-generated EDM song. That's what it sounds like. That's an Ave spotted. We have an Ave jump scare. I mean, I don't hate the song, but just the lyrics are a little strange. I know, this is maybe music that you're not used to. We usually listen to a lot of, like, heavy metal and stuff like that, but we're changing up the vibes a little bit. Changing up the vibes. Generally, this music is a lot easier to digest than people screaming at each other, you know? Okay, that's something. Yeah, it's not canister music. Play this, and what do I do here? Just, like, Gravecrawler pass? You know what? I could just main phase all this stuff. Well, no, it's the same thing, right? I can, like, sack Gravecrawler to Tower, play Bowmaster, replay Gravecrawler, but it's the exact same board state as just casting the Bowmasters, so I'm just gonna pass. I'm making this complicated for the sake of being complicated, for basically no reason. Eating the Stitcher. I guess I could have sacked the Stitcher Supplier and tried to find a Gravecrawler, and then I could have replaced this with an extra power to play second Soultrader. I think I'd rather have the Bowmaster up if they, like, try to cantrip again. Or if they try to, like, cycle a Vizier. I can do both. But then I'd have to sacrifice stuff, right? Which is less power. So what did you want to do? You wanted to go Tower, sack Supplier, tap Theater, play Soultrader. And then I would have... No, I'd have to sacrifice the Gravecrawler and the Soultrader to play the Bowmasters, right? Oh, I can play the Bowmasters first, sack the Supplier and the Bowmaster token. Well, then I'm still one short, right? Yeah, I don't know. So, ideally right after this match. It's my favorite type of tree. I'm a big fern guy. Besiege in my tower? Well, yeah. Oh, maybe I should have sacked the Supplier there. Yeah, I think I maybe should have sacked the Supplier. Because now this is a lot worse if I draw Unearth or Nightmare. I guess Nightmare is still fine. Yeah, I guess that's true. I can always sack the Supplier because I have the Soultrader. Yeah. That is not what I need. Please, just give me a Marionette Apprentice, please. Apprentice me. Alright, 3. Alright. I feel like I'm gonna die next turn. I don't know. I guess I'll do this. Is there a reason to not play the Soultrader? Could have some kind of weird Wrath in their deck, I guess. Alright, go. Please don't kill me. They didn't go for it last turn. Monka? Monka? Was a joke about Karn being a tree. No, I know that. I know. Are you referring to this? Alright, I'm gonna hit the F6 button. They can't cantrip. Oh, they can now. They definitely can now. They're still dead if you draw Apprentice. Apprentice kills through the ring, which is nice. Damn it, it's actually extremely fucking relevant that I can't target them, because I could mess up their, breach. But of course, the One Ring is just anti-fun. Alright, you can go. You can go. The One Ring is, it's a hell of a card. I guess they can't use the ring now. That is helpful, right? Would have worked in paper. Oh, right. I take some of their game actions and then cast the Trawler to hope they forget about the ring protection. Come on. Come on, man. They can still use it. Well, they can now. Okay. This was a song request from D. Sparg. Do you think a one-ring ban would be beneficial? Well, I have some thoughts on what potentially should be banned in Modern. But be on the lookout for a YouTube video that is going to be coming up shortly. I don't know exactly when. I just recorded it today, and the editor is going to be working on it, but should be out relatively shortly. To answer your question, I did talk about this card in the video. So, if that maybe answers your question. TLDR, this card is fucking bullshit. I hate the One Ring more than Nadu. Honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Alright, I'm good. You win. I'm good. I'm good. It is what it is. You're not kidding. Well, what explain, because I've never heard of this. Yeah, explain your work, please. Dude, this mana base is so fucking bad. I mean, I'm keeping, but how does my mono black deck have this bad of a mana base? Like, what is this? What happened to the day tracker in your stream title? I removed it because it's more important to talk about Karn becoming a tree. Yeah, Rumbleflage is nice. You know what I think? After round 1, I'm just going to keep the Hand Hider up the whole time. I know it sucks, but like... I want to cover my bases, you know? For the challenge, of course. If people want to snipe me in leagues, then, you know, they have different problems. Yeah, MTGO streamer mode. I'll make a tree Hand Hider after this match. What am I doing with my life? I'm going to go Supplier... Milled over Trawler. I'm going to go here. I really want to find a Soultrader. Did not find a Soultrader. I think I'm just going to go Thoughtseize. Command's kind of annoying, but I don't know how I could beat the rings, so... Man, it almost makes me not want to cast the Gravecrawler this turn. But I just don't know if I can afford to for mana efficiency. It's kind of tough. No, I'll just cast it. It is what it is. Windows key, type magic. Right-click, open local. Will lead you to Moto shortcut icon. Right-click properties, advanced check compact files to save disk space. Alright, I'm going to screenshot your message, and I'll try that the next time I get a memory leak and see if it works. I never knew that you could do that, though. So it's basically restarting without restarting, is that what you're saying? Oh, they didn't cast the command? That's kind of wild. Actually kind of shocked they didn't cast the command. Let's go to combat. I have no idea. I've never even heard of that before. Create a tutorial and post it on Twitter. Yeah, if you could, honestly, that would be great. I'll take a look. I've never even heard of that before. I did not even know that was a thing. It's kind of cool, though, if we never have to restart again. I guess they can just use the command as Graveyard Hate, right? Which they are going to do. So presumably they just go make a bunch of mana, exile some cards from my graveyard. No, I guess not. They do not care about the graveyard. I guess there's nothing too threatening in there. There is a Gravecrawler as far as combo pieces, but I'm kind of far away from setting up the combo. They played Power Plant that turn, so we don't know either of the cards in their hand. Didn't think about this. Kind of forgot this could go after Nightmare. No, there's no Skelemental in this version. This is just zombies. This is like leaning heavy on the Warren Soultrader Apprentice Gravecrawler combo. Speak of the devil. So I think, yeah, I'm just gonna go Soultrader Gravecrawler, and then I can hold up Village Rites. So if they go to exile, if they go to exile this, I can just sack it to the Soultrader. And if they go to exile this, I can, like, sack Gravecrawler, use the treasure, right, sack this. And then it's in the graveyard for Unearth, which is kind of important. So we might be able to kill them next turn. Okay. They seem to be breaking off a little bit, which is good. I like that. Yeah. All right, so we get a couple of looks at trying to find a Apprentice next turn. Apprentice me, please. That's 6 more looks. So let's go Supplier. We actually get a ton of looks here. None of those. So we can sack Supplier. There we go. So get back Apprentice. Trigger here, Servo. Cast Gravecrawler. Yep, you're dead. All right, cool. All right, do we want anything else against Eldrazi besides Fulminator Mage? I don't think so. Maybe Duress. Nightmare's kind of slow. All the flares are good. Got Village Rites, maybe. Okay. I'm going to keep all the Unearths because we have the... Like, Unearthing Fulminator is so gross against them. Exactly. If they're taking this long on Nadu, Flage is almost certainly never going to get touched. So this hand is what? Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Turn 2 Apprentice, make a token. It's close. What do you think about this hand, chap? Rain of Gore is mostly for the mono black deck. People had suggested boarding it in against Boros. I don't know if that's a good idea. It is good against Guide of Souls and Flage, but I think it's too narrow, and I would only bring it in against mono black. This hand's close. I'm going to try it. I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to try it. Warren Soultrader. Alright, we don't need to fetch the red source because we did not board in red cards. Tron, huh? It's kind of funny if they World Breaker me. I think they're very likely to kill my tower, so we obviously don't care if they do that. And you're good. I'm just checking. It's been 6 days, so I just want to make sure he got him out. Okay. Let's go here. So they're going to Tron. The nice thing is they can't cast the World Breaker next turn because they don't have green mana. Would suck if they drew exactly Devourer of Destiny, because the timing on Devourer is really awkward, where since it's a cast trigger, you can't flare. Like if I flare before the cast trigger, the creature's not in play. So the timing is kind of awkward against Devourer with flare. What's this? 3 mana. They're going to Besieges the tower. Okay. So now we get Theater. Free Surveil, by the way. Doesn't really do anything, right? We kind of already have that effect covered. I'm just going to graveyard this. We just need to find the Gravecrawler. Gravecrawler or Supplier. Yeah. Not the best. Just going to play Soultrader this turn. And I'm actually going to play the Bog, because we know they have... We know they're going to cast Worldbreaker next turn, and I don't want to expose the tower yet. The combo only works when we have more life than opponent. No. So the way that the combo works with Soultrader plus Apprentice is you drain them for 2 for every 1 life you pay. Because you pay 1 life off Trader, and then this drains them for 2. Because it's 1 from the Apprentice and 1 from the treasure token that you get. So you only have to be at 1 more than half of your opponent's life total to be able to kill them. Yeah, 1 more than half. Okay. Give me a Gravecrawler, please. I would take a Supplier. Would not take that. They use the Besage, right? I mean, at what point do we cast the Flare? The issue with casting Flare is they can just rebuy the Worldbreaker, right? Do they have enough to rebuy and cast? 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. They do have enough. Yeah, I guess I could cycle Unearth. But I'm thinking if my plan is to Flare, sack Apprentice, kill this, then I would want to Unearth back the Apprentice, but I think I'm just not going to cast Flare. Okay, well, that does not really help me that much. I'm just going to pass. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could sack the Servo to hardcast the Flare, but I can also just block the Breaker and sack the Servo, which kind of accomplishes the same thing. Like, I don't really care if this thing stays in play. And I kind of don't want them to blow up more of my lands. Because, like, here's the thing about playing the tower, is if I take that line, play the tower to kill the Worldbreaker, they can just rebuy it and kill the tower, which makes things awkward. It gives me a lot less mana. Does that change anything? Not really. I think we still just cycle here. Okay. I mean, I guess I'm just going to attack. Yeah, I can't afford to sack the Apprentice. I might just take 5. I can't be that far off of killing them, right? I gotta be close. 10, and then each creature represents 2 damage, right? Oh, I know what I can do. No, because they can rebuy it in response, right? Yeah, because if I Flare, sack, Trawler, this goes to the graveyard, they can then respond to this and rebuy the Breaker. So flaring here is bad, right? Yeah, I think flaring here is bad. Because they have mana to get it back. Makes them sack a land. Yeah, but they have an extra power plant and a temple they can sack, so I don't think sacrificing 1 land is super relevant. I'm just gonna take this. They have like Allah's Dust or something. They mulled a couple of times, yeah. They're tapping a lot of mana, I don't like this. Okay, well I guess we can kill that with Flare. But they're at 1,000,000 life now. Huh. That's a problem. That's gotta do something, right? I can loop Apprentice. Okay, let's think about this. So we go Flare, sack Apprentice. They sack Breaker, hit for 6. Post-combat, Nightmare, sack Trawler, get back Apprentice. Sack Token, get back Trawler. Does that make sense? I think that's the best I can do, right? So we do this. Again, we still can't kill the Worldbreaker. They have mana to rebuy it. Right? I mean, I guess, like, is the second Flare getting any better? Like, am I okay with trading Flare for a land? If they just draw to their Breaker, the second Flare is still good, right? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go play Nightmare. Trigger. Rebuy the Apprentice, sack here. Do this. Servo. And then I guess... No, that's the same thing, right? Keep chump blocking the Breaker. Yeah. Well, then at that point... Do I even use the Nightmare? I guess I can go Tower, sack Apprentice. Nightmare, sack Servo, get back Apprentice. Then I'm just in the same spot. That didn't accomplish anything, right? And that's some life. Well, I mean, okay, I can sacrifice the servo. No, that doesn't work, right? Because if I sack the servo to the Soultrader, then sack the apprentice to the tower, I have to sack this to the Nightmare. So I can sack servo, get back Trawler, but then how do I get back the... I could sack apprentice, get back Trawler, but then how do I get back the apprentice? Sack servo for mana. So tower, sack servo for 2. Apprentice to Nightmare, get back Trawler, then sack Trawler to get back Apprentice, make a token. I think that's the best way to do it, right? And this nets 1 damage in the process. So then we go here, here. Yeah, this is +1 damage. Get their graveyard. Again, I could flare, but they have 3 mana to get back the Worldbreaker, so... Get back Trawler, flare response. We've gone over this multiple times. They have mana to activate the Worldbreaker. It doesn't do anything. We do net 1 energy in the process, right? Well, no, because the Nightmare getting back Trawler is break even. So isn't it the same? I don't think I care that much about that in the grand scheme of things. I think I'm okay with that. Stops the Gravecrawler loop. Yeah, I don't need to infinite combo them to kill them, though, right? Yes, it does stop the Gravecrawler loop. Now that I've drawn the Gravecrawler, of course. Can I still kill them? I don't think I can kill them this turn. I can remove their blocker and hit them for some damage. But then they can rebuy the Worldbreaker. 11... Wait, hold on. I might have figured it out. Alright, hear me out. Ready? Hardcast Flare. Hit them for 5, they go to 6. Sacrifice Servo, get a treasure, they go to 5. Well, no, this doesn't work, because now I have to sack the Apprentice. This doesn't actually work. This doesn't kill them this turn, right? Like, I can make 3 mana to go through a Gravecrawler loop, but in order to do that, I have to sack the Apprentice or the Soultrader. Right? Because I can use the Servo for mana off tower. Yeah. So I guess we just pass. I should be able to kill them next turn. Although it's going to be a bit awkward because they can Worldbreaker my Phyrexian Tower, and then I can only go through 1 iteration. Oh, thank you, Kennesidon. I'm going to bookmark this, and I'll look at it. I'll try it later. I'm going to bookmark this, and I will save it for later, but I appreciate that. I never even knew you could do that, so... Should have just went Crawler into Flare. Crawler into Flare. I only have 5 mana, right? I need 3 for the Crawler, 3 for the Flare. That is kind of awkward, actually. Thanks again, Kennesidon. Appreciate you stopping by. I'll take a look at that later. Yeah, them having 2 blockers is kind of bad. Interesting they took the Nightmare, not the Gravecrawler. They have to go over after tower here, right? Yeah. Is it absurdly hot and humid where you are? A little bit. It's not too bad, though. Are they just dead to me casting my shit? Play Gravecrawler. Yeah, they're just dead, right? And we go sack this, which is 2 damage. Sack this, which is 1 damage. 3, 2... Yeah, they're just dead. Okay. They're just dead to the Gravecrawler. We didn't even need a creature there. Cool. Alright, Trinisphere did not matter. Alright, so this is effectively a 4-lander, but we have Supplier Unearth, so I think I'm going to keep it. Yeah, I guess Loam is good with 6. That's a good point. Yeah. It's possible that Loam is maybe more of a sideboard card for, like, the really grindy matchups. Ragavan. Did you know that card's banned? You're not allowed to play Ragavan in this format. Just don't tell the Boros gamers that. Milden Apprentice, that's nice for the Unearth. So we just need to find a Gravecrawler. We are being chillin'. Certainly will block if they attack. Okay, it's unfortunate. It's like the only good answer to Supplier. Be kind, Ragavan. They hit Boggart Trawler. Well, thankfully they can't cast that. Okay. It's pretty good. Nightmare, huh? I mean, it just has to be Unearth Apprentice play Gravecrawler, right? Yeah. And we can, like, maybe try to go off with the Nightmare next turn. The unfortunate part is they're going to get to jump the Ragavan, which kind of sucks. Not a big fan of that. Trying to decide between buying Zombies or Boros Energy. Zombies, a ton of fun to play, in my opinion. I think they're both reasonable. I mean, I would have to say that between those two, Boros Energy is probably a little bit more competitive. But like I said, I don't think this deck is that bad. It has a reasonably fast clock. Like it can combo kill pretty quickly to be able to race the non-interactive decks, and it's got a good amount of grind. The biggest issue is being particularly weak against sideboard cards. Like, it's really hard to beat people if they show up at late line. But other than that, I haven't found this deck to be too bad. Yeah, the pacing of the Boros deck is kind of wild. I get to pump both of these. This might even be a spot where even if I draw Soultrader, I don't think I can combo them. Because they're at 22, and I'm going to be at 10. Yeah, we actually can't even combo them. Kind of just got rinsed this game. This wasn't even close. That's not going to do it. So, against Boros, Force of Despair is interesting. Definitely want Fatal Push. People in chat were telling me, like, suggesting that I board in Rain of Gore earlier against Boros. Feels like it's too narrow, but it does stop Guide of Souls and Flage. Is that worth it? Yeah, that's another benefit of buying the Boros cards, is you can build a lot of different decks with that energy core. Yeah, Pride too. I don't know, it just seems so narrow. Duress bad. Charm. I mean, this thing deals them, like, 7 damage, right? That's a lot of damage. Rain seems bad? Yeah, I agree. I think it's really only there for Necro. If I have cards to board out, I don't mind the charms. It deals them a shit ton of damage. I really don't like Flare against Boros. Just, like, the cards that matter, they have so many different, like, they have so many, their entire deck is 1s and 2s. It's good against Flage specifically, but it's not good against anything but Flage. Yeah, Despair could be interesting. Like, if they double or triple spell early. Because they're, well, we didn't see black, right? I usually do board these out against Bowmaster decks. What if you did something like this? Don't hate that, right? Deal 7 while you're probably not the aggressor. Well, so the reason I like it, and this is maybe a little, this is going to sound weird and it might be a little too narrow, but because their deck gains a reasonable amount of life with Guide of Souls, it actually comes up to the point where you can't, like, physically execute the combo because they're at too high of a life total. So it kind of, in theory, makes sense in those spots against the Guide of Souls games to, like, just deal them 6 or 7 damage, and then you can combo them, because you need to get them to a specific life total to be able to go for the Soultrader combo. So it's like, maybe it's too narrow, but in theory, it kind of makes sense in those spots. This hand is fantastic. You kept a non-interactive hand on the draw. This is what happened to me on their turn 3. Bruh. What the hell? Jesus Christ. Get turn 3'd, idiot. Just get absolutely smushed. Alright, do this one. That's a good point, too. They Charm kills Hearse. I could buy that. Okay. I'll offer the trade. No, I guess not. I mean, I'm gonna push it anyways, right? So I might as well just do it now. Like, no matter what, I'm gonna end up pushing it. Save us some time. And we know they don't have Sanctifier because they still revealed Giganta, although most Boros lists are not playing that card anyways because of Giganta. Sure. Okay with this. Could just double spell next turn to make a bunch of blockers for the Ragavan. They hit my Surveil land. I wanted that. I wanted to be able to fetch that. Mostly the card that is good for them overall is Guide. Yeah, that seems to be the card that is the hardest for you to beat. And that's kind of exactly why we lost game 1. We're 1-1 in the challenge. Ghost, have you considered playing Bloodghast in this deck? I feel like there's a couple of spots where I kind of wanted it. I know it's not a zombie for Gravecrawler purposes, but it still seems pretty good. Undead Augur. Is that 2/2 for 2 whenever a zombie dies, you pay a life draw card? Eh. Rumble is kind of cool. Rumble milling over Bloodghast, or Rumble milling over Gravecrawler sounds kind of hot. Yeah, that's another card I was thinking about, was Goblin Bombardment. When I played the zombie list that I played initially, I think I had 2, maybe 3 bombardments. I think I had no flares main deck. I had all the flares in the sideboard. It was pretty similar. There wasn't a ton of differences, but I had bombardment when I first tried this deck. Yeah, the other problem with Village Rites too is the more popular energy deck appears to be Mardu, and you really don't ever want to cast Rites into Bowmasters. This hand is a little suspicious. At least we can surveil into second land, right? This hand is pretty good if I can surveil on a second land. Am I more likely to win on this hand or go to 5? It's close. I keep it. Yeah, this is definitely one of the hands of all time. Well, see, that's why Rakdos Charm is good when you mulligan, because you can put one back. Play 24 lands, play 22. Okay. Shitty thing is I have to play the theater. It's gonna look weird, but I want to give them a brick off the Ragavan. I don't want to draw the Unearth, but I don't want them to hit a good card off of Ragavan. No, I just copied your list. 22 lands. I mean, at least we have the charm. So we just go land, go. I like the idea of Birthing Ritual. I just don't know what I'd want to cut for it in the list that I'm playing. But I do really like that card. I saw a version, which I think the version that I first saw was Spike's initial version, which was the list that I'm currently playing, minus Fable, minus Rumble, plus Ritual, plus Knight Errant. I think that was, or Ranger Captain, sorry. And I think that's what Spike was initially playing. I like Rumble, I like Fable, but I want to incorporate, like, some number of Birthing Ritual, maybe not the full 4. Maybe, like, 2 Ritual, 3 Rumble, 3 Fable, 3 Flage, or something like that. Trimming a Nentuko. I don't know, I kind of like Nentuko. I mean, we kind of just have to kill the Hearse this turn, right? Feels bad, but I'm going to hold this back in case they have second Ragavan. Birthing Ritual Eldrazi deck. We were talking about that in Spike Stream today. Bro, stop with the Flages. Cut that shit out, man. Isn't it better to use the charm to prevent Flage? Not with my hand. I think because I am so close to comboing them, like I have the combo rolled up in my hand, I really just want to kill the Hearse. Like, we can kill them very quickly with this hand, as long as we have our graveyard. Drawing a land here would be massive. Okay, perfect. If Supplier mills over Soultrader, we win this turn, right? So let's go for that. It's not bad either. Honestly, I think I double Gravecrawler, because I don't want to expose this to another sorcery speed removal spell, and if we double Gravecrawler, that line beats, like, single Static Prison, because they're still dead next turn. Doesn't beat, like, second Hearse or something, but they're so likely to play Flage this turn. Okay, that's fine. Just don't hit Hearse, please. Lightning Bolts I don't care about. That's fine. I mean, I guess they're just going to hold up removal, right? But we have removal B because we have Unearth? I think. Sure. Be nice if they milled over the thing. Okay, this shouldn't matter, right? Because we go get a basic. Good thing I had a fetchable left. Soultrader, sack crawl. Yeah. Soultrader, sack crawler for treasure. Use treasure, Raucous Theater, play apprentice, sack token, get back Gravecrawler, etc., etc., etc. You get the idea. This deck is cool as hell. I like this deck. I know. It's like, it has a surprising amount of resilience. Like, it has fast combo kills, good resilience, even just like a completely reasonable backup plan too, you know? Like, the plan of just casting some random Gravecrawlers just comes up sometimes. Bowmaster's a hell of a card. It's got a lot of stuff going for it. I do like it. I'm curious as to what the bad matchups are. Yeah, I mean, it's not great against Leyline, but who's playing Leyline right now? There's just not a lot of decks that play that card. Yeah, it also plays the creature-type zombies, and zombies are phenomenal. You can't say no to a good zombie. Opponent, you can, whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. A player may concede a game. Oh, we got Salt in the chat. Oh, that's why they didn't concede. All right, folks, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you again for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that little showcase of the zombie strategy. I'm a big fan of this deck. It's got some fast combo kills. We got to kill somebody on turn 2 throughout this league, so I think that there is definitely something to this, as long as you can dodge some of the graveyard hate. Not great against Leyline, although we still did beat that we won that match against Leyline, so I don't know if there's a ton I would change. I believe that the user of the deck, who was in chat, Ghost Empire, has recommended cutting Village Rites for Goblin Bombardment, which I could certainly get behind. Bombardment, very, very good when it comes to Gravecrawler and Stitcher Supplier, giving you some more sack outlets and, you know, ways to just close out the game with a little bit of chip damage. But I was pretty impressed with the Boggart Trawlers. Just shaving lands for Trawler makes a ton of sense in a deck that has Nightmare and Unearth, where if you're flooded, you can hardcast them, but if you mill them over, then you just get them back with Nightmare Unearth against decks that have Flage or something. So it does make a ton of sense. Yeah, really good deck. Like it a lot. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you thought down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, YouTube.